Hi everyone, Chris of the Polish Geek, and welcome to another video, which is a kind of a different type of video actually, because not sure if I ever done this type of a video before, but I will certainly be doing those types of videos from time to time if I think this is very much something worth talking about. But I decided to do another video on Blood of Zeus because I already reviewed season 3 and it was excellent. I really loved it, although I did say it was really rushed and it would really be beneficial if it had one more season, because originally, but also the last episode should at least still be at least 10 minutes longer and cover the fates of some characters that were sadly left out, but whatever. The showrunners very much originally intended for the show to be 5 seasons, and the show would really benefit from the 5-season plan. And here there is an interview on Den of Geek with the showrunners and what they originally planned, which is really interesting. And I think that their original plans for 5 seasons sound so awesome and would make this awesome show even better, because honestly, if they stuck with their original 5-season plan, then this show would totally dethrone Castlevania as my favorite Netflix show, no doubt about that. But the original plans for 5 seasons and what they were originally planning to do, that sounds really so awesome, and it's such a shame that it didn't come to fruition, that I just think that it's just too important not to talk about. So I will read you this interview and totally talk about it, because again, I think this is an important subject that just completely worth talking about. So yeah, I will talk about. So yeah, I will read for you guys totally the interview with the showrunners, and we'll see about their original plans for 5-season Blood of Zeus. And again, such a shame that it didn't really came out, that the original 5-season plan didn't came up to fruition. But let's see the interview on Den of Geek with the showrunners. Blood of Zeus carefully crafts a tragic action epic that remixes Greek mythology to resonate just as strongly with animation fans and action aficionados as it does with the Greek mythology crowd. And yes, I love animation and I'm totally an action aficionado, but I adore Greek mythology. Like, I grew up reading Greek mythology in my childhood. I love Greek mythology and I feel very passionate about it. So yeah, that totally describes me very much. And yeah, the frayed relationship between Heron and Seraphim has always been essential to the series, but it reaches new heights in Blood of Zeus' concluding season, which builds to an all-out Armageddon. And yes, the relationship between Heron and Seraphim is completely the heart of the show. It really is the best part. I mean, the whole show is awesome. Everything about the show is awesome, maybe outside of the rushed final season, but yes, the brotherly relationship between Heron and Seraphim is completely the ultimate heart of the show. And those who have been drawn into Blood of Zeus' mature action sequences, emotional storytelling, and fantastical monsters will not be disappointed in these final episodes. I wasn't disappointed, but I do wish it was longer. Now when you will actually know what the original plans were, I admit it does start becoming disappointing. And don't get the wrong idea, I still very much adored season 3 of Blood of Zeus, but I do wish they went with the original 5-season plan. And a lot of work has clearly gone into this season to make sure the Netflix series receives an exit that's worthy of a hero. And it totally was. So here is an interview with the showrunners. Den of Geek asks, you've previously spoken about Blood of Zeus having 5-season plan, but this vision clearly shifted to a 3-year story. Can you open up about what would have been expanded upon in the original vision and what had to change or get cut? And here Vlas Parplidis answers, absolutely. In our 5-season plan for Blood of Zeus, we had hoped to dive much deeper into several character arcs, especially Seraphim's. We wanted to spend more time exploring his growth, showing how adversity shapes him while still paying true to the core of who he is. From where he started in the series, the plan was always to bring him to a better place, emotionally and morally. We believe everyone has the capacity to grow, even through darkness, and Seraphim's journey was going to reflect that. Well, and that sounds awesome. Whole character arc of Seraphim was awesome and greatly done, but expanding on it and developing it and seeing a lot more of it would be so awesome, because Seraphim, don't know if I said it in my review actually, but if I did it, I will say it now. Seraphim is actually my favorite character in the whole show. Like, his journey, character growth, his character arc, everything is excellent. So yes, my favorite character in the show was Seraphim all the way. Like, I liked Heron, but Seraphim is just so much better than such a much better written character than him in every way. I love Seraphim. We also had bigger plans for the priestess. We were going to explore her complex and sordid past before she became a priestess, and then Baxter would have added more depth to her relationship with Seraphim. A dynamic we really wanted to expand, and we're going to spend more time with them. And that's a real shame because I was actually very much invested in the priestess, and I really wanted to know more about her, and I really loved her relationship with Seraphim. So, yeah, like, exploring a lot more about the priestess, all that would be awesome. Like, I totally need more seasons. What a shame it didn't come to that, because that sounds really interesting and really essential to the story. And on a larger mythological scale, we had envisioned Cronus surviving the battle at the end of Season 3, which would have allowed us to explore more of the Titans. That arc would have culminated in an epic, large-scale battle between the Titans and gods at Mount Orthris, something we're very excited about. Ultimately, with the story shifting to a 3-season arc, we had to condense or trim some of those threads, but those elements, especially the emotional evolution of Seraphim and the mystery of the priestess, remain close to our hearts. But what a shame. I really wish we got all that, actually. And to be clear, we're incredibly grateful to Netflix for giving us the opportunity to complete this version of the story. Of course they're saying that because obviously they're not allowed to speak against it, but even though objectively what Netflix has done very much harmed the show. Like, it had the potential for a really incredible show, and it was incredible, but it could even be better if they allowed them to with the original 5-season plan. So honestly, they're thankful to Netflix, but they're just saying that because obviously they can't speak against them. But if I'm being honest, they have every right to be upset at Netflix. Of course, both we and many fans would love to see the story continue. Well, of course we would. We had plans to visit Atlantis and Poseidon's domain in Season 3. Like, if that wasn't epic, like seeing Atlantis and more of Poseidon, that would be excellent. Like, I'm really fascinated by Legend of Atlantis. Like, yeah, like, seeing Atlantis, that would be incredible, as well as the epic final war between the Titans and the gods Vlad's mentioned. The Season 5 arc was going to explore the original Armageddon story we cooked up for the Olympians, something we've never seen in Greek mythology. It would have been tied to something Cronus did out of spite before he was defeated. Greek mythology doesn't really have an end-time story, and we thought that would be cool to explore. Yeah, totally. But we're at peace with how it turned out. We're proud of all 3 seasons. We believe each one stands strong on its own, and we feel the series finale delivers a powerful conclusion, especially for the arc between Heron and Seraphim, which has always been the emotional core of the show. And I agree with that. I actually do agree with that. Bringing that to a close in a way that felt earned and true meant everything to us. And here they are asking the next question. On that note, was Heron's immediate resurrection always a plan for what was next after Season 2's finale? And the plan was always for Heron to sacrifice himself. The difference is that if we had more time, it would have happened later, after more growth, more conflict, and more healing between him and Seraphim. Heron was always going to realize that Seraphim was the one that the prophecy truly pointed to, and he was going to make an unselfish choice, to lay down his life so that his brother could step into what he was meant to become, and in doing so save countless others. But this admittedly is what indeed happened. When did it happen? Doesn't matter. This is pretty much what we got with the both characters' arcs of the brothers. As Vlad mentioned, we always knew that Heron would always sacrifice himself for the greater good, and that his selflessness would be catalyst for Seraphim to change course. Originally, we had planned for that moment to close out Season 4, but we had it move forward when the series was condensed. We understand some viewers might be surprised by the number of characters' deaths in this final season, but once Typhon, Cronus, and the Titans were unleashed, we felt the stakes demanded a real sacrifice. That kind of overwhelming threat couldn't be resolved without a loss. Well, of course it couldn't, but truthfully, we've always struggled with stories that present massive, world-shattering battles only for all heroes to walk away unscathed. I kind of agree with that, actually. That's not how it works, not in real life. War brings chaos, death, and sacrifice. But in all honesty, I'm reading that, I actually feel they did not kill off enough characters. I mean, still plenty characters survived, actually. So if anything, I actually feel they didn't kill enough. I mean, they did kill some, like Hephaestus, Ares, and Heron, Persephone. But that's pretty much it, actually. So, I mean, it's good that they new understanding and killed off some, but honestly, if compared to what they're saying, I say they actually didn't kill off that many, actually. Also, Heron's relationship with Alexia was another casualty of the accelerated timeline. Oh yeah, I was actually talking about interview, how I very much wanted more of relationship between Heron and Alexia, especially that they didn't show what happened to Alexia after Heron died. It's just like she gives him a sword for the battle and then she sort of disappears from the story and isn't even shown what happens to her after Heron dies. Like, they truly should have showed Alexia after the battle. What we had hoped for to explore over a longer arc had to be distilled into a flash-forward one that in many ways heightens the tragedy. Heron sacrifices not just his life but the future he could have had with her in order to ensure Zeus's liberation and the salvation of their world. That moment was inspired by a passage from With an Old Beard, a memoir chronicling a brutal Pacific campaign of World War II. Although, if I'm being honest, I don't know what plans they did have for Alexia, but my idea for the story would be, because there is actually a vision during the final battle of Heron seeing his potential future, what his potential future with Alexia would be like, and them having a kid together. And honestly, ending a story of Alexia, of revealing that she is pregnant with Heron's child, that would actually be, I think, a perfect, excellent character ending for her. It would basically show that it would basically bring the romance full circle, but also totally showed us but also be a really nice payoff to the flashback flash forward actually, technically, to the flash forward to the potential future that Heron saw as a vision of his potential future with Alexia. So, yes, I actually think that would be my perfect ending for Alexia. Reveal she's pregnant with Heron's child, although I don't know what plan that the showrunners actually had for her, but I'm pretty sure they had a really excellent idea in mind. I mean, they've proven to be very passionate storytellers, so I am sure they very much had a great idea in mind. Again, I don't know if that was really their idea, same as mine, but whatever idea they had, I'm sure it was excellent and perfect for her character ending. And here we have also Seraphim, has always been one of Blood of Zeus' most interesting characters, who has evolved far beyond his initial role as a villain. That's true, and as I said, he was actually my favorite character. Talk a little about exploring this rewarding evolution, taking Seraphim down this path, and bringing this arc to fruition by the end of the season. Seraphim's arc has always been one of the most rewarding aspects of Blood of Zeus for us to explore. From the beginning, we're interested in showing that he wasn't just a villain, but a deeply wounded character shaped by betrayal, abandonment, and loss. And that's true, that's totally the case. What made writing Seraphim so much fun was the opportunity to show how someone broken by the world could still find the strength to change. His evolution wasn't about becoming perfect, it was about becoming better. We wanted to show that redemption isn't clean or easy, and that sometimes the most powerful transformation is simply choosing to be better than the pain you've carried. And, well, yeah, like the character arc for Seraphim was excellent. As I said, Seraphim is by far my favorite character in the entire show, and like everything about Seraphim was just perfect. I love Seraphim, so yes. Seraphim and his character arc was excellent. Although, again, I do wish they followed with the original plan and killed off Heron like at the end of season 4, and then season 5 basically focusing on the final battle with Kronos, and most importantly on Seraphim's character growth. Like, yeah, that would simply be incredible. But still. And then was it important to build a finale where not just Heron gets to be a hero, but also Seraphim and even Hades? It's really beautiful to watch everyone work together, truly as a team. Absolutely, it was incredibly important to us. From the start, we wanted the finale to be more about than just one hero, and in that case, they totally got this right. It totally was more about one hero, mostly about Heron and Seraphim, but still, it was about showing that growth, redemption, and strength can come from different places, even from characters who started out on opposite sides. Giving Seraphim his moment, letting Hades into the light in his own way, and allowing all the characters to come together was by design for us emotionally satisfying. We love stories where unlikely allies find common ground, and we wanted the ending to reflect that kind of unity, not just in battle but in spirit. It's easy to show characters fighting alone. It's more powerful when they choose to fight together. And here they're discussing more a little bit of it, but then, and in the grand scheme of 5-season version of the show, we wanted to get a similar place with Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, and it would also be pretty excellent. I mean, we do see during the final battle all three together fighting Kronos, so I guess they did a small part of it, I guess, but devolving a whole story into it would be excellent. While we couldn't do that, at the very least we wanted to give Hades a win after his actions at the end of Season 2. If we're being completely honest, Hades is one of our favorite characters, and we wanted to make sure he had a great exit point for him in the series, even with the reduced timeline. And he had an excellent point. Although, here's the thing, giving Hades a redemption arc was something we felt strongly about. But in all honesty, I don't really think he needed a redemption arc. Like, I never found him really that evil in the show. In fact, I actually found him far better than most of the gods in the show, which is actually how it was in Greek mythology anyway, but the only evil thing really that he's done is killing Charon, but other than that, I never really found him as that evil. He's a character who's so often misunderstood or misrepresented, even in mythology. That's very true. And these writers are getting it. And we wanted to peel back the layers and show the person beneath the crown of the underworld. Like, we thought it would be powerful to take someone who had been seen as morally grey and show that he's capable of compassion and sacrifice. Letting the audience root for Hades to see him rise up from where we left off him in Season 3 made his arc one of the most unexpectedly emotional journeys of the season, one we were proud of. It was also important to show us that being the god of the underworld doesn't make Hades inherently evil. In fact, in many myths, he's actually one of the more rational and fair-minded gods. And see, these writers are getting it exactly. Like lots of modern Hollywood, especially after Disney's Hercules, like to portray Hades as the main villain, basically a Satan equivalent, even though originally Greek mythology, Hades was actually not evil. He was actually one of the more moral gods, actually, and the writers are actually get it. Good. Now here they're talking about the voice actors. Let's skip that. That's not that really important, really, but I will talk a little bit though about the voice actor for Cronus, because this is actually something I really want to comment on, because Alfred Molina, who voiced Cronus, what made Alfred so compelling in this role is his ability to convey strength and sorrow in the same breath. He played Cronus as he never played Cronus as just a villain. He found the pain, the history, the regret. He gave the character emotional depth that really elevated the performance and added layers to every scene he was in. Although, I have to disagree with that. Like, I didn't find Cronus any sympathetic at all. Like, I just found him to be a straight-up evil, maniacal villain, which is what he should be anyway, but I have to disagree that there was some pain and regret in Cronus. There was none. Like, he was just an evil, maniacal villain, but again, he very much should be anyway. And again, he was a really excellent villain, and Alfred Molina did a fantastic job voicing him, but he was not sympathetic one bit. And then again, he shouldn't be anyway. And here also, there is another thing that they're going to talk about here. They're just talking about the battle scenes, which are spectacular, but not really relevant to that discussion. And here they're discussing ending of Season 2 again, which is... This is interesting. Blood of Zeus concludes on a satisfying note, but there are still so many stories to tell with these characters. Netflix love a good spin-off and continued universe. What would be a dessert of your Blood of Zeus spin-off, and when would it be set? Although, funnily enough, if it wasn't for the fact that Netflix didn't let them do 5 seasons like it should, we wouldn't really need a spin-off then, because every character and story would get resolved in the actual show, so we wouldn't really need a spin-off. But unfortunately, because Netflix being Netflix, spin-off could actually be beneficial now, even though this is the type of show that really wouldn't need a spin-off if every single plot thread was resolved and they got the original plan of 5 seasons. But let's see what they have to say. The world of Greek mythology is so rich, totally. You could go in countless directions. There are just so many incredible characters to explore. Over time, we casually floated a few spin-off ideas to our Netflix execs, but to be honest, Netflix has a track record with animated spin-offs. They would often point to those examples in our conversations, so it never really felt like a realistic path for our show. The one exception has been Castlevania, which did spin-off Nocturne successfully, but that's a unique case. Castlevania is a deficit finance studio but Frederator Studios, which makes it very different financial situation for Netflix compared to our series, which is fully owned and financed by them. Again, that changes the calculus significantly. But this is a real shame because, again, Castlevania, the original one, is my favorite Netflix show, but if they got the original plan of 5 seasons, then Blood of Zeus would totally dethrone Castlevania as my favorite Netflix show. Totally. What a shame that they didn't get the original 5-season plan, because again, if they did, Blood of Zeus would very much dethrone Castlevania as my favorite Netflix show. If anything, I think we'd better off launching an entirely new show set in the world of Greek mythology rather than trying to extend this one. That might actually be a good idea. That said, if they just do a new show set in Greek mythology, but an entirely new continuity, that might actually be for the best. Especially that it will also be consistent with Greek mythology, which had so many different versions of various different myths. Plus, it will give them complete freedom to do as they like with their story. That said, we did come up with a really compelling backstory for the priestess Gorgo. They already been talking about it higher in the interview, actually. From a story standpoint, that one had real potential. It would have been something very special, in my humble opinion. Well, what a shame it didn't make it to actual show, because while I'm very much interested in the backstory for the priestess, I really think that I don't know if I want a spin-off. This would be something that just should be in the main show, actually. And here they're talking about the music, excellent one, but again, not relevant to the discussion. And here they're talking about the favorite moment on the show. Oh, this is interesting. This is probably one of the most interesting parts, because they're talking about their potential future projects, which I'm really interested in, because these writers have just proven to be passionate and to truly care for quality storytelling and compelling characters, something that sadly lacks with the vast majority of Hollywood writers, but these writers have proved to be one of the exceptions, because they have truly proved to be passionate people who truly care for quality storytelling. So let's see what future projects they have in mind. This is really interesting. Lastly, I know that you've had aspirations to put together a Medusa dream project. Has that come any further along, or were there any elements from that idea that found their way into Blood of Zeus' third season of the Titans? Are there any future projects that you can talk about? Their answer: we're really excited about the number of upcoming projects. One we're especially passionate about is the Medusa project, completely separate from Blood of Zeus. We've taken one of the most iconic figures in Greek mythology and reimagined her story in a way that feels bold, unexpected, and uniquely our own. It's a dream project that's slowly starting to get traction, though we can't share the specifics. Definitely want to keep an eye on. And yeah, I'm totally up for that Medusa show. Like, this is something that they very much should greenlit, especially that if that's something they feel so passionate about, well, yeah, like, I'm completely up for that. And also, I'm glad it's completely separate from Blood of Zeus. It probably should be, because from what they are describing, and it sounds like it's because Blood of Zeus is very, very authentic to Greek mythology. While it sounds like what they're doing with Medusa, it sounds like they very much want to give their own unique spin on the character, which would really fit with the world of Blood of Zeus, which I just said is on the other hand very authentic to Greek mythology. So I think that doing this show separately from Blood of Zeus in its own continuity is really for the best, because again, they're very much giving their own unique spin on the character, which is best if it's separate from Blood of Zeus, which is just very authentic to Greek mythology. But whatever the case, I'm so excited for their Medusa project. Like, as I said, these writers have proven they very much can be trusted with quality storytelling, and this interview just shows how much love and passion they have for their stories, and that's why I'm completely up for the Medusa project. Let's see what else they have in mind. We also have several other projects in development across both the live-action and animation space. One of them is NKA's supernatural action fantasy we're launching as a comic partnership with Heavy Metal Magazine. I'm not much of a comic reader, but might be interesting. But again, I'm not much of a comic reader. I sadly will probably miss this. But this is interesting. Another story we're excited to develop is Ragnar the Barbarian. We'd love to explore it as both a comic and an animated series. It centers on Ragnar, a Scythian warrior who rises from the sea to infiltrate a cursed pirate ship ruled by Captain of the Dead. To reclaim his lost love, Ragnar must battle sorcery, ruthless freebooters, and his own brutal past, or be swallowed by the abyss. that really sounds awesome, like Ragnar the Barbarian project. Hope that this truly comes to fruition, because honestly, Ragnar the Barbarian sounds just incredible. Like, don't know what I'm more excited for, Medusa, which is their passion project, or Ragnar the Barbarian, which just simply sounds excellent. But truly, I'm excited for both, because as I've been saying while reading this interview, these writers have truly proved themselves. They proved that, in contrast to vast majority of Hollywood or most Western writers, these guys have proven to truly care for quality storytelling and compelling characters. They've proven to truly have passion and love for the projects they are doing. And hence why, whatever project they decide to do next, I'm completely up for it. Either Medusa could work, or Ragnar the Barbarian. Both sound really incredible, and I'm really interested in both, very much so. But whatever, these writers have proven themselves, and I'm up for whatever they have in mind. But again, guys, I really had to share this interview with you, because I just think that the original ideas for the 5 seasons sounded so incredible that it's just such a shame that they never saw light of day. And honestly, if Netflix did let them stick with their original plan with 5 seasons, then honestly, Blood of Zeus would completely dethrone original Castlevania as my favorite Netflix show. What a shame that Netflix didn't let the writers with the original 5-season plan. But whatever, I just thought those plans sounded way too incredible not to share with you guys. But still, again, I'm really excited whatever future projects these guys are planning next. Either the Medusa or Ragnar the Barbarian, whatever, I'm up for anything these guys are planning to do. Because again, they truly showed to have passion and love and care for quality storytelling. And thank you folks for checking out this video. Press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you then, bye!